question, do you have a date in mind when we will all meet for worship services in the future? And I assume what the question's meaning is, when are we going to say, everybody come to church for weekend services? Well, we said about 3 weeks ago that this weekend is when we would decide what is next for the chapel, because this is the weekend the governor said he was going to talk about moving from stage 2 to stage 3. We just moved to stage 3 on Friday, and so we're evaluating that information. So I'm going to tell you the most important thing that I can say to you is James chapter 4, verse 11. James says, be careful about saying, on this day we will go to this city and we'll do business and then we'll go to that city. He says, you don't know what the future holds. You should say, if the Lord wills. So here was our plan last week. Our plan last week was we were going to do 2 things. We were going to open for live services on the weekend of 27, 28 of June. And before that, we would have some closed services, meaning we would invite specific people to come to a service so we could practice. And it sounds strange, but we have no idea how many people are going to come, and we have no idea how we're going to seat them. Because while the government has said churches are open and they're free to meet, they've also said, but they have to follow social distancing. In other words, we have to keep 6 feet apart from each other. So we could have a row that holds 12 people and a family of 4 sits together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have to have 6 feet before we can place the next individual or the next person. So we don't know how in the world we're going to do that. So we're going to have some practice before we say, everybody come. Now the numbers have improved. And by the numbers improving, what I mean is this. We know that less people are contracting the disease now than a month ago. Less people are dying from the disease now than a month ago. It's still a tragedy that people have the disease and that people are dying, but the rate of those numbers is going down. They're moving in the right direction, which makes us as a society think things are working. We can open up more businesses, more opportunities. We're doing that. But let me also give you 2 other pieces of data. One is some churches opened a week ago, some churches opened 2 weeks ago. They were early adapters, and congratulations to them. What we found from their experience is churches that opened only saw a 10 to 20% of their normal attendance show up. Unrelated to that, my wife and I did some personal research. It's our favorite type of research. We said, restaurants are open, let's go see what it's like. We went to one, sit down, have a waiter or waitress take care of you, nice restaurant. And the attendance at this lunch was fractional. I would say there were 6 people in our side of the restaurant, which could have easily handled 50 people. Then we went on another day to a different restaurant, kind of where you go through the line, pick up your own food. And we were the only 2 people in that restaurant. So here's what we're finding out. Even though some things are opening, doesn't mean everybody's ready to make that move. So we're trying to gauge when is it the right time for us to make that move. We're going to have a training session on Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, to say, here's what we need our staff to do for opening up our building. So our plan is the 27th and 28th, but we may come back to you and say, things are favorable, we're ready to go, and we're going to move that up a week or 2. But that's the general plan that we have in mind.